He lost everything in life. He lost his health, his peace, his happiness, and his joy. He lost his properties, his wealth. What's left is just pain and suffering, loneliness and heartbroken. It hurt more than he ever thought it would, more than he believed he could survive, the kind of pain that doesn't scream out loud. It just lingers in silence like a storm that never ends. It is eating him from inside. It wasn't the kind of pain you can see from outside. It was quieter, deeper. The kind that breaks a man from the inside, piece by piece, moment by moment, until he forgets what it even felt like to be. Everyone saw his face and smiled at him, but no one really saw him. No one noticed how heavy his soul had become. They just saw the shell, the polite smile, the quiet nod, the man who kept showing up. They didn't see the battle happening behind his eyes. They didn't know how many nights he sat alone, staring at the ceiling, asking questions that never had answers. He wasn't always like that. There was a time when he believed that he had fire in his chest, dreams in his heart, a reason to wake up, a reason to run forward. There was a time when he joked with his friends. He laughed like no other times. But life has a way of testing people. It doesn't ask for permission. It just starts breaking a man. It destroys every beautiful moment he had, losing everything in silence, a little loss here, a little loss there, a broken promise, a shattered hope, a betrayal he didn't see coming. It all stacked up. And before he knew it, and by the time he realized he had been cheated and betrayed, the damage had been done. The man who once believed in everything started doubting everything, even himself. He stopped talking to others, not because he didn't have words, but because no one really listened to him. He stopped reaching out, not because he didn't care, but because he got tired of being ignored. He stopped hoping, not because he didn't want better, but because hope had started to feel like a setup for disappointment. He stopped caring, not because he is heartless, but because that's where people exploited him. He stopped available, not because he is arrogance, but he was just used to fulfill their needs. But here's the truth, even when it hurt the most, he didn't quit, he didn't shout, he didn't scream, he didn't ask the world to feel sorry for him. He just kept moving, inch by inch, through every storm, every pain, every tear that fell. When no one was looking, he let the pain shape him. He let it teach him the lesson of life. And somewhere along the line, the pain that was breaking him started building him, because pain, real pain, doesn't just destroy. It reveals and it shows you who you are. When everything else is stripped away, when there's no one clapping for you, when there's no spotlight, no support, no comfort, just the raw you, the broken you, the real you, that's the moment a man rebuilt himself. The breaking point decides what kind of man he's going to become. He could have stayed down, and he had every reason to do so. The people he trusted the most turned their backs on him. The plans he built fell apart. The future he imagined crumbled in his hands. The dreams he had for so long vanished completely. But he didn't stay there, because deep inside him, something refused to die. A small voice inside his head, a whisper that said, "You're not done yet. You're not finished. Get up." So he did. Not with a roar, not with celebration, but with tired eyes and trembling hands. He got up when no one was watching. He trained when no one cared. He learned in silence. He suffered without applause. He cried alone, and he kept going. One lonely step at a time, he became his own reason, his own motivation, his own company. And slowly things began to change. Not overnight, not instantly, but gradually, like a seed breaking through concrete, like a man finally learning to breathe again. After drowning, he found strength in his scars. He stopped hiding what he had been through because rebuilding with scars, he realized that pain made him real. It gave him depth. It gave him armor. It gave him fire. The man who once broke under the weight of his loss was now carrying it with pride. They used to laugh at him, walk past him, pity him, but they didn't know what he was becoming. They only saw the fall. They never saw the rise. Because real growth happens in silence. Real strength is built in the dark. He didn't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. He didn't chase validation. He didn't beg for love. He stood tall, not because the world lifted him up, but because he learned to lift himself. He became dangerous, not to others, but to the part of himself that used to doubt, to fear, to hesitate. He silenced the voices in his head that said, "You're a loser," because he had lived through everything that was meant to destroy him. And he was still standing. Now people look at him differently. They see the discipline, the control, the silence in his eyes that speaks louder than words, the pain in his heart that he carry everywhere like a guidebook. But they still don't know the full story. They don't know what it cost him to become this version of himself. The friends he had to lose, the nights he cried alone, the dreams he buried just to survive. But he knows, and that's enough. He doesn't speak much, not because he's quiet, but because he's focused while others talk. He moves through pain while others chase comfort. He chases greatness while others complain. He builds, and the ones who laughed, they're silent now. Not because he proved them wrong, but because he outgrew their noise. Pain didn't ruin him, it raised him. It cleaned out the weakness, burned off the excuses, sharpened his focus, forged his character. He's not the same man anymore. He walks with purpose, not for attention, but because he knows what it's like to walk without direction. He shows up with intensity not because he needs to win, but because he refuses to lose to his old self. Every bruise, every scar, every lonely morning, every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every pain, it all built him. And now he's ready, not because everything's perfect, but because he is no longer afraid of pain. He knows it, he respects it, but he doesn't run from it, because the man he became was born from it. So if you're hurting, if you're tired, if you feel forgotten, if you were left alone, understand this. What's breaking you right now might be building you later on. And I know it hurts. I know it's not fair. I know you want to give up, but don't quit. Not yet, and not now. Because pain is not the end. It's the fire. And if you let it, that fire will refine you. Don't run. Don't beg. Don't break. If you must cry if it helps, then do it. But don't stop. You are not here to be average. You are not here to stay broken. You are here to become something unstoppable. So let it hurt, but let it build you too. Because one day, they'll ask how you did it. And then you'll simply smile and say, "It hurt, but it built me." Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.